Welcome everybody again. Thank you so much for meeting us on that second episode. This is exciting. We have my lovely partner today as a guest. And guess what? I have this just for him, standing right behind me. It's pretty much like a full length, and it hangs in my living room, and I have big 3 giant of them. So I get to see you, Tony, every day, to tell you the truth.
Tony, that was my idea.
They said last time you had too boring of a background, you need to bring something in. And then since you are here today, we have this.
Well, I appreciate that. That's a good background. I like that.
Okay, so guys.
Charlie Chaplin Theater in Jersey City.
Yes, and do you remember?
One of the theaters in the United States.
Yes, it is. And do you remember how hot it was? So yes. It's a really old theater.
I was sweating and you were glowing.
Oh my God, it was shiny. I was so wet. It was shiny. Right. So we have a bunch of questions for you. So who wants to go first? Girls.
Have anybody who wants to ask the question first? Do we have chat open up? Yeah, ready?
Yeah, I don't know, have a chat on. People are joining.
Tony, how's your family?
They're wonderful. We're trying to stay busy. My son's got me busy like crazy. I have to take him for bike rides, trampoline, all kinds of things. It's fun.
All right.
Actually, I've been teaching a lot. I've been teaching a lot of online lessons.
I wanted to know, since you have been on Dancing with the Stars, that you're, very well known for, and now you're having a quite different life probably. So I would like to know for everybody, what is life like right now after Dancing with the Stars? What are you doing? What is going on? What do you like better?
Actually, as soon as I got done with Dancing with the Stars, I've kind of gone into the full swing of going back to the ballroom industry, the industry that I love and that made me who I am today. Actually, I had the honor of becoming the Fred Astaire National Dance Director, which it kind of came full circle because I started with the Fred Astaire organization when I was 17 as a teacher in Stamford, Connecticut. And that was like, for me to become a Fred Astaire National Dance Director was, one of the highest honors of my life, actually, because I always looked up to those people that were dance directors before me. And now to pretty much be named that was a dream come true, actually. But as far as being busy, I got to tell you, I haven't stopped. This quarantine thing is the first thing that's made me kind of slow down a little bit and spend more time with the kids and so on. But for me, I think the only difference for me is that I no longer do it on TV. I just do it now in all the different studios across the country and training the future champions, training the future pro-am champions, amateur champions. For me, it's now I'm getting to share my knowledge that I've gained over all those years with as many people as possible.
That is fantastic.
Okay, so going back, sorry, I have so many questions here. So like you guys have to, it's again me. It's like I'm, last
well, it's normal if you don't know Tony as well as we do.
Well, I wanted to know, you have a very long career. You said you started when you're 17 years old, and now you are like at the biggest success. You're the dance director. What kind of things did you have to unlearn and mold? What was your journey like to become to that place that you are now in that dream position? I'm sure that's a personal journey. I'm sure you had a lot of, like all of us, you had some obstacles to overcome. You maybe had to change something about yourself. What was it like, the journey for you so far?
Well, the journey has been a dream come true. I never really thought with a goal in mind, like I want to be a national dance director. I just literally, I followed the footsteps of the predecessors, the people that I admired throughout all of my career. And to me, the most common thing that I heard is that never say no. Any opportunity that comes your way, never say no. An opportunity to dance. If you have an opportunity to teach. Anything that had to do with life experiences, you just never say no to, because even because everybody's also monetarily driven, I was never that way. I was more about experience driven. I wanted to experience things. I wanted to compete. I wanted to dance. I wanted to take as many lessons as I could because I was addicted to knowledge. I wanted to learn everything. I wanted to see how everybody operates, how everybody dances. I used to even take like full videos of the entire final, including my own, so I could watch the other competitors and see what they're doing that's so good. You know, and so I could learn from my competitors and so on. But honestly, the life experiences, I never say no. I just, you know, hey, Tony, can you do it? Yes. Yes is more common answer out of my mouth than anything else, because I think that's the only.
Do you want to give me $1 million?
Oh, well, I don't know about that part. Like I said.
Oh, my God.
I'm not monetarily driven. I'm experience driven. So for me, as far as that goes, I would rather, you know, experience something. I think experience gives you life lessons, even in failures. I feel like I've learned more from my failures than some people have even tried. So
what were those failures? I mean, let's go there. Like, do you have anything that you can share or are comfortable sharing where you say, okay, well, you know, I learned from that? Or because we all go through that. I mean, there's nobody out there, and whatever you say, I don't believe you, like who's never fallen on their face and had to get back up. So how can you share something for us?
Well, I mean, I've had businesses that have not gone the way I expected them to. I've had studios that didn't go quite the way I expected them to. Had staff that didn't work out. There's all kinds of different things that go on throughout life. Partnerships, I've had 10 partners. Lena was my 10th partner. So speak about, I mean, but I don't consider the other ones failures. I just look at that as a stepping stone. So to me, every single part of my journey was a stepping stone to where I am today. So, you know, when you look back at it, it was a blessing in disguise, or it was a learning opportunity. So I never look at like when people say, when you look back, I hardly ever look back. I glance back. I'll like, you know, like for me, it's like looking back at your life is like looking in a rearview mirror. You don't stare. You just kind of glance at it every once in a while, because I feel like the windshield is so much more exciting to look forward, and I'm more consumed with what I'm going to do next rather than what I've done in the past. If you notice that in our industry specifically, we have people that carry their resentment with them quite a bit. They carry their dislikes and so on, and they have like certain failures basically gave them the excuse to not try again, because in their mind they're thinking, oh, I tried it already and I didn't do well. I never had that attitude. For me, it was like try and try again. Somebody's used a quote that I really liked. Successful people have failed more times than most people have had successes. So in other words, Doug, for me, I wanted to fail 1,000 times. As long as I succeed once, all those 1,000 times are forgiven, because those 1,000 times prepared me for the success that I'm actually achieving at the time.
I know, Tony, you just mentioned you don't like to look at the past and you kind of go into the future, but we do have people asking certain things that they like. One of them was, what's your most memorable moment in your dance career?
Oh, winning with you. I don't say it because you're here, but honestly, you know, when I started dancing with you, I felt like I was dancing. I felt like I was finally showing what I thought I was capable of doing, and the fact that I got to experience it, and the fact that you gave me the opportunity to do it. I mean, as you know, I'm forever grateful to you, because I honestly do believe that, you know, to make a great partnership, both partners have to bring out the best in each other. And in our case, I think we did bring the best out of each other. I think to this day, even when we're teaching together, we bring the best out of each other. And my favorite thing that I used actually about us is that we never argued, ever. You know, and that's a rarity. We never really argued. The first time we were rehearsing, and we were doing Mambo, if I'm not mistaken. And Lena, Lena got a little frustrated with something. She wasn't even mad at me. She was just mad at the step. And she kind of did this thing, and I was like, she goes, all right, let's try it again. I'm like, I'm not dancing with you when you're angry. Go walk it off.
And I stomped around the studio going like this, and then I actually started laughing. I was like, go walk it off or something. I remember that.
But that's the one thing is we always had a good time. We always learned. We learned from each other. She was my most trusting opinion. Anything I ever wanted to try, I would ask her to watch me and tell me whether I was doing it right or wrong, or we laughed at each other. We were not afraid to laugh at ourselves. I think that was a big thing for us.
Laughing is a big part. I remember doing a show, and I think it was Cha-Cha, and I fell off my feet a little bit, not on the floor, but and as I'm doing it, I turn around and he's laughing at me as we're doing a show.
Yeah, it was, I mean, it was funny because even in Ohio at the Dance of the Legends that we did the rumba last year, I remember Lena was coming up and she actually went in the opposite direction that we were supposed to for one step. And I just started laughing. I go, ha ha. And there was one time where she was feeling music and she didn't want to turn around for a while. When she finally turned around, I was like, you got me back. So we always laugh. You have to have fun while you're dancing. You know, a lot of times people get too angry too quick. You know, it's okay to seek perfection. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with seeking perfection. However, you also have to be present enough to realize how special the moment is that you're in.
Have you always had that state of mind, or at which point in your career did you actually start having that freedom to enjoy dancing and not get frustrated while something, you know, was happening or mistakes were happening?
When I started dancing with Lena is when I gained that freedom, because it was for the first time in my career, I think, where I didn't have to worry about my partner because I knew that my partner had my back. You know, like I knew she, you know, it's funny because it felt like a true partnership. You know, it was like we both brought something special to each other, where trust and believing in one another and making a mistake was okay. You know what I mean? To us, mistakes were opportunities to do something even more special. You know, so I think the freedom came with the fact that I was able to express myself without ever holding back when I danced with Lena.
I have to agree because, Tony, honestly, you did the same for me, because that freedom of not afraid to go left instead of right, forward instead of backwards. And I know it sounds silly, but we as a dancers, we're a lot of partnership argue about that. And then it becomes, you know, you're afraid to go the wrong way. And there's nothing wrong with that. Dancing is dancing. Going forward or backward doesn't really make. So, and it just takes the stress away. It's an amazing feeling.
Really?
All right, we do have a couple of questions here from people already. So I was trying to see if we can get some of them answered. We have during quarantine, what would be the best way to continue practicing on your craft while being at home, not having an instructor or a studio to be at?
Well, I mean, that's the one thing about Fred Astaire Dance Studios that we've done is we started an online lesson platform. It's FredAstaireOnlineLessons.com. We did it for the public as well, because there's free courses for beginners, for advanced, for whatever level you are, just to keep you active. And then to push it a little further, I mean, you could look in this page and you could hire pretty much anybody on this page that's a professional that's willing to teach to stay active. But when you take a lesson, ask the question of homework. Ask your teacher to give you homework. So that way you can do things at home. And the cool thing about this is, like, for example, when I'm teaching the online lessons, I'm at home as well. So they can relate to what I'm doing at home in their own home, which is kind of nice. For good thing about dancing is you don't need that much space. Yeah, you know, obviously if you do smooth and standard, that's different. But truth is, even with smooth and standard, you could do some of the exercises that when you go back to the dance floor, you'll be stronger because of it, rather you're working on rise and fall, body action, frame, and so on. And same thing for rhythm and Latin. You can work on balance, you can work on hip actions. And because it's going to keep you a little bit more compact, in fact, it makes you really work on the body, which allows the music to really be transferred through your body and so on. Okay.
All right, we have a second question. I saw that.
That's a very controversial one.
You didn't hide it well enough for us. We want some. All right, we have another person asking, can you explain the difference between the new hip lift and regular hip action? But maybe that's going a little bit too far into, details. I don't know if you have an opinion about that or can give us an overview in like literally 1 minute. Is there anything you can say to that? What's your opinion about the new hip lift and the regular hip action?
I think we should have Tony teach a lesson as a private. So we should redirect the link where he teaches those things.
Okay, fair enough.
Because teaching on the spot is a little unfair.
No, but it's okay. I can answer that easily. I mean, I think every technique, if you take it based on a tag, as in like hip lift technique, I don't like to criticize it in any way, because unless you've totally taken a lesson in it and understand what they're trying to bring across and how they're trying to do it, then you can't necessarily have an uneducated opinion. You may like it or dislike it, but that's the nature of our business. We like and dislike things all the time. It doesn't make it real. It doesn't make it factual. And what it does is just basically it's your cup of tea or not your cup of tea. For me, I don't like categorizing anything as in one category. So if there's any criticism I would give it, that is not the only way to move. There's many different ways to move. So that's basically the only criticism that I would have on that. However, if you talk to the people that have created that, I'm sure they have a more expanded explanation of it, of how they do it. Now, for me, the method of teaching that I've been doing since I was 17 years old, being taught in Fred Astaire's system and so on. I've been doing American rhythm since I started dancing. Actually, I started with American rhythm, that did Latin, and I was pretty successful in Latin as well, and went back to rhythm. So for me, I've tried it all. And to me, I feel like each style of dancing has to be unique to that person, to that person's body type, to that person's personality, how they hear music, how they express themselves, how they move as far as strength goes. Are they athletic? Are they not? So there's all these categories that go into it before you ever teach a technique. You have to get to know the person that you're teaching so you know what level of dancing you're introducing. I don't believe one fits all. If that's the case, then we would have one shoe size. You know what I mean? Every shoe size is different for a reason. Every foot is different. Everybody's body type is different. Yes, we're made out of pretty much the same things. However, each person maneuvers different. They have different strengths, different things. So as far as my opinion goes, I feel like you need to get to know the student so you can give them the proper things for themselves.
Okay, that was pretty impressive for that short time you have. But the question continues. It's not my question. I'm just reading here off my my chat. And the person is asking, how do you keep your love of dance alive in the midst of all the chaos?
Oh, dance is an escape. I mean, I grew up in Kosovo. So in Kosovo, we had wartime. So during the war, when I came here when I was 15, the only escape I had was dance, being at home, dancing with my brother and my sister, so while the bullets and bombs are going off in a distance and around our house. So for me, dance has always been the biggest escape. So during any difficult times, as we're going through right now, this is probably the most difficult time in a known history, near history. In other words, in our generation, we used to think that 9/11 was bad. This is far worse than 9/11. You know what I mean? So to me, we need escape. We need some sort of normality within this chaos, and dancing is the only thing that brings that. Dancing is directly related to music. Music is directly related to your soul, and your body moving and trying to dance and move a little bit and create an escape for your mind is great for your body, mind, and soul. So I think dancing is the most needed thing right now these days, because it's the only time I see people smiling is because I do a lot of Zoom classes, and you should see their look on their face when they first come in, when the end of the lesson is. When the end of the lesson, you see them just, full of excitement, full of, they're exhilarated, because they're moving, they're having fun, they're enjoying themselves. So I think dance is the best thing. I think it's the best medicine. And besides, it's the best way to stay active. I tried working out. For 3 days, I couldn't even get out of my bed because I'm so sore. Okay, so the point is,
I can relate to that. I'm
When you're
teaching and I'm
dancing over
dancing right now, and I'm pretty sore by now, but not from the weightlifting, from all the moving I'm doing. Since it's quarantine, actually, I'm getting fit here because I'm teaching all these classes. And when you are online, you actually gotta move. So I'm I'm getting in shape here.
Dancing does that because it works on the firing muscle, the muscles we forget about. Because when you work out, you're only working out your big muscles. You very rarely work on the firing muscles. I call those the daily muscles. In other words, how to stay healthy. Those are firing muscles that help us walk, sit, get up, and all that. The big muscles can assist, but really it's the muscles that surround the spine that we need to work on, or around the joints and so on. So dancing works on all of those things. And dancing works on the one muscle that is the most important to stay healthy. That is your brain. Happy, releases endorphins, keeps you in a good mood, and so on.
But talking about workout, I decided I'm going to do an ab workout, one of those from a YouTube video. So I chose the one that's like most popular, 30 minutes, just abs. I knew that I was going just for those muscles. And here's this pretty girl with a long ponytail going for 30 minutes, 15 seconds reps. One exercise after another, after another, after another. Probably after 10 minutes, I thought I'm going to die. But I did all 30. And it's a day 5. And I'm still sore. It was intense. And she was doing it like it's nothing. It was amazing. And I'm like, oh my God, I hate you.
That's when you go to the toilet and you're like, why did I do that?
All right. I think we have to embrace a new normal. This is going to be normal for us, and we have to stay as a community. And I think like Tony said, online lessons is very good because for me, definitely those videos and workout videos did not work. What works is that I get with a group of my girlfriends and we do workout together, because in front of your peers or in front of the instructor, you cannot quit. Because you pretty much would be either embarrassed or you're paying for it. So I think embracing this and embracing what we can do at home, doing online group classes or online private lessons is super cool. And you can do it at home. You don't even have to get out.
Exactly. But I mean, like you said, when you're in front of somebody else, you can't quit. Because if you go by yourself, you go visit it, walk by it, look at it, and that's a good idea. And then keep going. You don't even stop. Somebody that thing just asked, how did I find dance partners throughout my career? Just be in a dance business, be present, be available. As you go to competition, you see people you like. If you were anything like me, I was friendly to anybody that knew I would be the first one to go up and introduce myself. And, you develop friendships, you develop, people like your dancing, they give you comments and you see the possibility. The coaches were a big part of it as well. But with Lena, it was more like we were best friends. I was like, hey, you want to dance?
I actually do remember our first meeting. It was hilarious. Funny story. At that point, it was a North American championship or something like that. So it was our first competition with my partner, Michael, in the United States. And Tony comes up to me and he's wearing this leather pants, giant Versace buckle. He comes up and goes, "What's up, girl?" Do you remember that?
I don't remember it being like that, but okay.
Like for me,
I always had a Tony.
I've heard this story.
I was dancing like that. I was walking like that.
So, yeah. Anyway, we have a little treat for you. So we're going to do a little pop quiz, which is going to be really, really, really super fast. Snow prepared some funny questions, I guess. So the rules are you can't really give out the long answer. It has to be really, really quick. And she's just going to pop them. You ready?
Yes or no?
You ready? Okay, let's go for it.
Go for it.
If you can't sleep at night, what do?
Watch TV.
What is your favorite body part?
Really? I have to answer that?
Come on. We would really love to know this.
Use your imagination, I guess.
But we want to know what you think is your favorite body part.
You already answered that by not answering. Let's move on.
All right. Which partner would you like to be stuck in a quarantine with?
Partner, dance partner, you mean?
Yes.
Oh,
You
yeah.
said you had 10 of them, so I would like to know which one of them would you like to be stuck with.
Hands down.
I got chosen.
Not even a contest. Not even a contest.
All right. The next question, 7 times 6.
7 times 6. Why is that important?
It's just funny.
Good question.
Okay, 42.
How
Yay.
does your wife smell?
What?
How does your wife smell?
How does my wife smell? How do I explain that? Right now, she smells like food.
What is your wife's pet's name for you?
Honey.
Honey. Ooh, so she calls you honey, honey?
Yeah, I always say that's, you know, that it's an easiest way because that way, you know, even when she says it, it depends on the tone of the voice that she uses that changes what the meaning of it is.
So when she's like mad at you, goes, honey!
Yeah, it becomes all capitals. All caps.
What do you wear to bed?
Actually, a shirt and boxer briefs.
Interesting. What are you afraid of?
Nothing.
One thing that your family does that drives you absolutely crazy.
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I have no answer to that. That's crazy. I actually don't have an answer. My kids don't bother me. My kids actually just inspire me. I just wish I was as young as they were. So, I mean, mentally I am, but physically, because there's times where they want to do stuff and I'm like, oh my God, my body hurts.
What is your favorite word?
Favorite word? That's yes.
That's a good one. Do you say yes for everything?
99% of the time, Leanne.
I know. You just said no to my $1 million.
Yeah, well, that's the 1%.
All right. So last 2 questions that I have for you. What is your hidden talent?
My hidden talent. Oh, I play golf.
Well, we know that. We see this.
Oh,
so what is another hidden talent that we don't see on the social media?
That you don't see on social media. That's a good question. Oh, I know how to play an accordion.
Wow. I didn't know this about you, Tony.
Yeah, you know, I was actually in music school for Albanian music when I was back in Kosovo.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Impressive.
It is impressive. Now I want to hear it.
All right, maybe in the second show.
There's a reason why it's a hidden talent.
And the last question that I have, describe yourself in 3 words.
Optimistic, positive, and dreamer.
This is fantastic. Well, that's all the questions that I have for you. And I'm so impressed. I didn't know you can play an accordion.
Me neither.
It's really not that impressive.
You can at least go.
Yeah, but close.
All right. Does any of the audience have any more questions for Tony? Tony, who was your favorite coach?
Oh, my favorite coach. Too many to name. I think they all had a really amazing strength. I learned something from all of them. I mean, it's kind of hard to separate. That's a difficult question because I really do feel that everybody had their own strengths. And when it comes to comparing, like dances, when people ask you, like, what's your favorite dance? It's difficult to answer. Depends on my mood, depends on the music, depends on what's playing, depends on what I have to do at that moment. I end up loving it because I have to do it at that moment, you know? So I think that's a difficult one. It's because there's certain coaches that you have rapport with, you know, but in my, and Lena could probably attest to this really well. Every time I showed up in front of a coach, I was always very ready to learn, ready to ask questions, ready to try, ready to do anything. I never went in with a contradiction with them. Whatever they asked me to do, I would ask questions as in, how do I accomplish that? What can I do to make it better and things like that. So I feel like our coaching lessons, or my coaching lessons throughout my entire career, have been more about me getting more and more educated versus anything else. I wasn't result driven. I was more educational driven.
So we just got in one more question. What was your favorite performance or showcase you've done?
I think last year's Rumba was pretty awesome. I thought, because you always want to have that moment where you could, like a mic drop moment. And I thought, Elena and I doing that Rumba was a mic drop moment, as in, okay, you youngins, this is how it's done. So I never walked off the floor so confident, because I knew who I had in my hands. And honestly, when you have Lena in your hands, you could pretty much look so awesome, because you just guide. That's it.
What was also so special about it, because you and I, up to that moment, didn't dance for 6 years. And we actually met in Ohio on Wednesday, practiced it twice, and performed it on Friday. And you know, I was nervous for sure, because, you know, 6 years of not dancing, at least you did Dancing with the Stars shows and everything, and I had children, so, but it did feel really
I had children too.
You didn't birth them.
No, but it was a great moment. And, you know, it's funny because people say that your life is made of moments, and that was a great moment. It was a moment of, you know, solidifying your career, solidifying, you know, your dancing, and to see other people celebrating what you have accomplished and still be able to demonstrate what your beliefs in dancing are. It's pretty awesome, because when we walked off the floor, I mean, the who's who of dancing came up, and they were in awe, obviously, of the dance. And to me, it was like, you know, for me, it was such an amazing thing to be able to perform with Lena again, because that's the thing that I really enjoyed throughout my entire career with Lena. It's like, just getting on the dance floor and knowing who I have next to me was like, I was proud of her. I was proud of us, but I was more like happy to showcase what my intention can be delivered. You know what I mean? My intention was there, and she was able to fulfill and surpass my expectation.
It actually reminded me of the moment of one of our earlier practices where, you know, we're separated in our routine, and I walked forward and I did something, and I turned around, and Tony is like, I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, watching. It was pretty amazing to even practice like that. Tony, thank you so much. I mean, you definitely, the end of my career was absolute fun, because, you know, we all went through ups and downs and different partners. That moment was pretty amazing.
I think it's good to
really.
for everybody.
I'm sorry. I would love to ask one thing. Because considering that you guys speak so highly of yourselves, and I mean, we have both of you, so I feel like we're interviewing both of you. What is that made your partnership last? What is it that you agreed on and you can recommend to other partners in dance community, that they don't split so easily, they don't give up on each other? What would it be, the advice that you can give the younger generation?
Trust. You have to trust the person next to you. I trusted Lena, like I said, I trusted her opinion more than anybody else's opinion, because she's my partner. If she doesn't want me to do good, then maybe this is the wrong partnership. You know what I mean? That's the way I looked at it. So for me, trust was a major part. So I trusted her opinion. I believed in her ability. I actually was a fan of her dancing, and she was a fan of my dancing. We enjoyed each other. One of the things that I do with couples, I question them all with the same question. I tell them to give me 3 positive things about their partner. And they have to say 3 positive things about their partner. And every time they're learning how to dance, when I'm putting them through things, I ask the partner, do you think she looks good on this? Do you think he looks good on this? Therefore, that positive communication can start coming in, because we are creatures of habit. And if we get too caught up into nitpicking on each other, then we forget to compliment each other. And I truly believe that you get a lot more through positivity than negativity.
Yes, for me, like I said, the word respecting each other's opinion, not right away dismissing it, because again, that happens in other partnerships, and then you lose yourself in it. So the fact that your partner just says to you something, it's also how it's delivered. Like Tony, absolutely right. As far as the positivity, you can ask someone to do something with the intentions that it will be better, not with the criticism. And I think that's what made our partnership strong, because we always asked of things from each other. It's like, okay, can you be a little further? Can I have a little more? Can you turn left instead of right? I mean, again, it sounds like simple things, but a lot of people will fight you on it. And we never did. We're like, okay, well, let me try this. Right. See if it works. And that respect of others' personal opinion, for me, I think what did it for us. Plus, I think we were older and wiser.
I don't know about that. I think the enthusiasm took over a lot, because we were just like happy to be. I mean, I don't know. It's very rare in our industry where you have partners that truly agree on everything, and they also disagree, positively, in a sense. We disagreed on things, as in like, all right, well, let's try your way, let's try my way and see which one is best. And we did that, and we, without any ego, decided what was better. In other words, if she wanted me to do something, it was so funny, because we went to practice on something. We just did a show in Chicago last year, and I went to do something. Elena goes, I can't, I don't want to do it that way. I want to do it this way. And I was like, all right. And I don't know who was listening to us. They came up, Aaron and Irina. Aaron comes over to me and he goes, I have never seen people work the way you two work together. I go, what do you mean? He goes, well, you guys just, anything each other says, you're like, all right, let's try it, with the same enthusiasm. And it's so funny, because there's a saying that says the secret to success is approaching every failure with the same enthusiasm. And I think that's really the way we've worked together.
All right, Tony, we have a literally less than a minute. It's gonna cut off. Thank you so much for being here. I love you with all my heart. Thank you for finishing a career with me, and I'll hope we'll have you back again. And we'll see you guys next week.
Next
week.
Time for joining in. One foot in front of the other. Let's have a new normal, and create a community. Enjoy this time together, and we'll see you guys next week. Ciao.
Bye.